Hello, welcome back. Ralph's Automotive, 2004 Ford F150. Complaint is that we have a rough running at times, mainly after it's been running and is warmed up. A little bit of history on the truck. This one here had a set of phasors put in by me per customer request. I told him about the problem with the aftermarket phaser. These here came from, I want to say Amazon, if I remember that correctly. We've replaced a coil pack on this. I'm going to get you a shot over there. What codes I pulled out of it. Well, I figured I'm going to show you this here. That'll be better than me trying to get the camera over there onto the screen. So the codes that came up, P0012 and the 21, those are for your cam, over advanced and over retarded, system to lean bank 2, random misfire detected, engine misfire detected on startup, cam position circuit. All these little faults right there could potentially come from the phasors. I'm going to start out by assuming that there is something wrong with the cam phasors. Get that fired up and actually have a look at the cam phasors here in a minute and see what they're doing. After the truck's been warmed up for a little bit, while I'm doing all that, want to turn the camera off. There's no need in recording the warming up of the engine, so we'll continue here in just a second and see if we can figure out what's going on. So here you go, just truck warmed up. I don't know if you can see the shaking. Camera probably is not going to pick that part up. Doesn't have enough frame rate for it, but shaking like a leaf now, and you can hopefully hear valve train noises. I can hear it actually on, I think on both sides. Check engine light flashing, just had to verify that. Of course, Ford deems to not put oil pressure gauges in the truck, so we don't have one of them. Can't tell you what the oil pressure is. Okay guys, I got you in front of the screen here. What we're looking at is RPM, the vehicle speed, and the cam data. As far as the advance, bank 1 and bank 2, bank 1 on the left, bank 2 on the right. I think this is warmed up enough. And what I'm going to do is, all I need to do is rev the engine a little bit, and we can see once this vehicle gets warmed up enough, the cams will not return home after you rev it up. And the same thing happens when the customer went down the road, which we did road test as well, and the same thing happened to me. If you accelerate at any point in time after the engine is hot, the phaser gets hung, get locked into position. So, as per the customer request, we are going to lock out the cam phasors. He don't want to mess with it no more. I know this is a debatable subject. I've done several of these, and before this goes into an argument over fuel mileage and how the way the truck runs, all the ones that I did, the customers love them. They love the way the truck runs without it, so it doesn't matter the fuel mileage. some of them, they seen a little bit of difference, some of them seen no difference, some of them got a little bit better. So, I mean, it's not debatable, it doesn't matter, that's what we're going to do. If y'all want to watch the video, when I do it, I will film the process. I'm going to try to film the from start to finish, the whole process of what I do. I will do that, and we're going to get started now. As I said, I'm going to go ahead and software-wise, I'm going to lock out the VVT system in here, and I'll show you all how to do that. For now, we hook our constant voltage power supply to the battery, which is right there. As you can see, it will what that thing is, it'll keep the battery at 14.7 while we're doing any kind of programming. If you're gonna start programming or playing with computer systems on these automobiles, I highly recommend you get you one of these power supplies. They do work. I mean, they work great, because power loss when you're doing any kind of programming will render these computers useless. Sometimes even the voltage going low, depending on what you're doing in the automobile, the lock cycle, the light cycle, and all that good stuff, and that can throw voltage just down below what it needs to be. Just call it a tech tip or whatever. But anyway, we use here in the shop, I use HP tuners. You know, we've used that for years. It's a great working program. I'll switch over to the screen recording here in just a second, so we can actually see that process of what I do. It's really nothing. Doesn't take that much to do it. So without further ado, here we go. And just to add this, if you want the PC to, if your PC is not in the area where your programming interface is, I've mentioned that in previous videos, but I want to mention it one more time. You can't just use a USB extension. This here is a active extension, and you can tell them by the large head on the end of it. That is, as I said, I say it one more time, this is an active USB cable. So that's the only thing that you can use when you're messing around with programming stuff. This will work for the factory tools, you know, to extend the range. It'll work for anything. I apologize, forgot to do this on camera, so here we go. We go to the scanner. This is both in the suite. Both software packages come in the suite. If you decide you ever buy this, we have to connect to the vehicle. That's what I normally do first. So it is now connected. Hit this icon here, and we normally read the DTCs, which in this case here there's none right now because I had already cleared them. I use this clear DTCs to clear it. We can now exit out of here and exit out of this part here. We can now go into our editor. So here we are in the editor. I'm going to click up here to read the vehicle information, asking us to select this button, turn ignition off. I'm going to go over there and turn the ignition off, wait for 3 seconds, and turn it back on. So I went ahead and turned the ignition off. I waited more than 3 seconds to turn it back on, and that did the trick. I strongly advise follow the instructions on screen. You can brick one of these computers fairly easily. So we're going to save this file. I'm going to get that out of the shot here because well, privacy reasons. Okay, now that file is in there, and I'm not going to explain the software. I'm not here to do that. I just wanted to show you the process. We open engine, and there is a option here, variable camshaft. It's already selected because the previous file that I had opened, I had verified that this option was available to me. So here, as we can see, variable camshaft, this is enabled. Disable it, and now this no longer, the data here no longer matter. We can manipulate the data to the point where it doesn't work, but with the disabling is easier. It'll just disable the whole system. So at this point in time, we are done, and we want to write this to the vehicle, and here we are required to have licenses. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video while I got to go and buy them licenses. Have to log into my account online, purchase the licenses that I have to have for this, and continue the video from there. So stay tuned. So it's virtually that quick. I unsynced my device, added the credits that are necessary, and now we can actually we're going to show the license options specific, and we use this VIN number. Credits that are required is 2. Okay. Are you sure? This cannot be undone. Yes. And we're going to write the entire thing back on there. That's the only option that we have in this case here. Okay. Just as before, we are going to follow these instructions. I'm going to pause the video so I get that done. So any other time we can be a rebel, but when it comes to the programming, do exactly what they tell you on the screen. It's going to step through there and erase the flash, or erase the NAND, whatever you want to call it, and then it's going to proceed to the programming part of it. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the part where I highly recommend you have a battery tender of some sort. The best thing to use is a power supply like I have hanging on the wall over there, because the electrical ripple from a charger, a standard battery charger, is not the greatest in the world. It can cause problems when you're programming. These units that me and many other people that do programming, you know, the units that we use, they got filters and all that good stuff, you know, to produce clean power, and a charger doesn't produce clean power. Something to be said though, if you're on a laptop and you're doing a screen recording like I'm doing, make sure that your laptop got enough power to do both things at the same time, because that can potentially be a problem as well. So kind of keep that in the back of your mind, not to do it on a laptop that's weak. When I say weak, meaning not have a lot of memory and you know, a slow speed processor. This unit here is fast enough to do anything, so that's why I'm able to do that, or otherwise I would not be doing this. Okay, the ride is completed. As you can see, we can now close this out. I guess something I'm going to add to here. Normally, what I do is give the customer and it don't have to be an expensive flash drive. You know, that can be one of them Black Friday specials or whatever. You buy a dozen of those, you know. I normally take the file, the original file, and save it in a safe place, like, you know, make sure that it's dry and not in the heat or in the extreme cold, you know. Put it on a flash drive or something like that, something cheap where there's nothing else on that flash drive. You know, that's just an idea. But anyway, we're going to go out there now, and we'll get the truck fired back up after we cycle the ignition key, of course that is, and see if we have any activity on the VVT. So inside the truck, we're going to go ahead and try to start it up. Pretty smooth, other than the loud exhaust, and I'm going to try to show this on the scan tool. I don't know if this will work, but we'll try. So looking at the scan tool here, we can already tell the data pits for the cam, for the variable cam timing, I should say, they're no longer on the screen. That is because that part of the system was turned off. Now all we're getting is your RPM and vehicle speed and so forth. As I said, PIDs are gone. I'm going to head down the road. This thing's got mud tires on it that about wore out, so it's insanely loud. Anyway, we want to get this thing warmed up. No check engine light at this point in time. But stay tuned. We're going to keep on going down the road, see what's going to happen. So the truck is good and warmed up already. We still not had check engine light. Okay. The check engine light would come on right away earlier. Don't know if that part is in the video or not, but anyway, it did. I'm actually past where I took it to earlier, so normally it would have already set the light. Anyway, I'm going to turn in. We're going to go a little bit further. I know I probably should be wearing my seatbelt. For one, the annoying light would not keep dinging at me, but anyway, I'll give it a little bit of a throttle. So, as you can see, no problem. I'm going to have to get off the camera. I'm going to have to go rescue a turtle. Try to get this fella here off the road. I ain't going to mess with him. I ain't got no gloves. I'm going to have to get him off the road. As long as he don't lunge out and try to grab a hold of me, we're getting along just fine. So this is an alligator snapper. Alright, he's safely in the grass. Little something extra for today's video. I don't kill animals. I'll stop and help anything. Snake, doesn't matter. Alligator, I don't care. You know, I'll try to help it if we can. Anyway, get back to this. Truck is running smooth. It's been sitting there idling the whole entire time. It's more than warm enough to do what it did before. I think we're going to call that success. The owner is still going to have me lock it out. So guys, kind of something funny happened. I pulled in the driveway and lo and behold, it started acting up again. Check engine light come on, noticed misfires. Again, bank one. So I had it in my mind to do this later. You know, give it back to him for right now because I'm kind of pushed for time. We're fixing to close the shop up for a week and a half or so. We're getting some concrete work done outside, so won't be able to drive in and out of the shop. But anyway, I'm going to end the video right here. Part 2 coming up will be the job itself. We're going to make sure that we get all of it on camera this time around. I don't think the last one that I did, I think that was kind of vague as far as step by step, but we're going to make sure that we get everything here. I'm going to try not to rush, forget to turn the camera on, and so forth. Probably going to just leave it running, be on the safe side. But anyway, stay tuned for part 2. Subscribe if you haven't done so, like, dislike, whatever. Thanks for watching.